Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back to these online classes after the Sera break. Now, after the Sera, as I promised, I will be starting with the new unit, that is optics. Okay, and when we deal with optics, a lot has been reduced from your syllabus, so I will be dealing with whatever is left out in the reduced syllabus. And optics has been divided into two portions. The first portion is ray optics, where light has been treated as a ray. And in the second half, we will be dealing light as a wave, and the portion is called wave optics. Alright? And optics, as you all must be knowing, it is the study of light, because optics means light. Alright? Now, to begin with, we will first deal with refraction of light. Okay? Reflection was there, but it has been removed now from the syllabus. So, we will be starting with refraction of light. First, we will be dealing how refraction occurs through a prism and what happens to the light when it is incident on a prism, how light gets deviated, how spectrum is formed, etc. Alright. So let's begin with the definition of refraction of light. You must have learnt in lower classes that light always travels in a straight line. Okay. It holds good as long as light is traveling in a single medium. Okay. As soon as light encounters another medium of another optical density, it will bend its path. Okay, so this phenomena of change in the path of light when it goes from one medium into another is called refraction of light. Okay, and there are two laws governing the refraction of light. These are called the laws of refraction of light, also known as the Snell's law. The first law states that the incident ray, the refracted ray, and the normal at the point of incidence, they all lie on the same plane. Okay, and the second law states that the ratio of the sine of angle of incidence in the first medium to the sine of angle of refraction in the second medium is a constant, and that constant is called the refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first medium. So here you need to be very careful when you deal with this term. Okay, so this means refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first medium. Alright, so these are the two laws governing the refraction of light, which we are going to apply when we do certain derivations in today's class. Okay, now let us now see how refraction occurs through a prism with the help of a diagram. Suppose you have an incident ray. Alright, this is called the incident ray. It strikes this space refracting surface AB. So at the point of incidence, you are supposed to draw the normal. Okay. Now as light is entering from a rarer medium, that is air, into, of course this is made of glass. What happens is light will bend towards the normal like this. So this is the refracted ray, and this angle between the incident ray and the normal is called the angle of incidence I, and this angle is called the angle of refraction. I give it the name R1 because there is one more angle to be formed on the way. So here again this happens to be the incident light, and here it makes another angle. We name it as R2. This exactly cannot be termed the angle of refraction because it happens to be the angle of incidence in the second surface, on the second surface. Now this happens to be the incident ray. Now since light is traveling from glass back into air, it is going to move away from the normal. Alright, and this is called the emergent ray, this is called the refracted ray, this is called the incident ray, and this angle is called E, and the angle is named as the angle of emergence. Okay, and now this A, as you can see, it is the angle made by the two refracting surfaces. They are inclined at each other. These two are called the refracting surfaces. This is called the angle of prism. Okay, this plays a very important role in the deviation of light. Okay, now here you can see that light was traveling this way. If this prism were absent, it would have gone straight, isn't it? But it has not gone straight, it has been deviated. So we can produce the incident ray. This is called the incident ray produced, and this is called the emergent ray. They make a certain angle called delta, and this delta is a very important term when we deal refraction through a prism. This is called angle of deviation. Okay, now here you can see various angles formed. First is angle of incidence, Second one is angle of prism. Third one is this angle of emergence. It is called the angle of deviation, and of course we have got R1 and R2. They hold a certain relationship with each other. So I will not going into the details of the derivation. You just need to know a few things here. The first one is R1 plus R2 inside these two inside angles will be exactly equal to the angle of prism. You can use simple geometry to derive these relations if you want, okay? And the second relation is that, applying this relation, we can easily deduce that angle of prism plus angle of deviation is equal to angle of incidence plus angle of emergence. So this has to be remembered when we go for further derivations, alright? So this is how the four angles are related. Angle of prism plus angle of deviation will be equal to angle of incidence plus angle of emergence. Alright. Now let's proceed further to see how this angle of deviation delta varies with I. As you increase the angle of incidence for a given color, for a given prism, given material of a prism, how does delta vary, or what happens to the angle of deviation? Does it increase with angle of incidence? Does it decrease with angle of incidence? It is shown by a graph called I delta graph, and the graph looks like this. If you plot angle of deviation on the y-axis, and if you plot angle of incidence on the x-axis, the variation is shown like this. Now it first decreases, that means on increasing the angle of incidence, the angle of deviation decreases. It will reach a minimum value at a certain angle where I has to be equal to E. So whenever you have I is equal to E, the angle of deviation becomes minimum, and this has been given the name angle of minimum deviation. On further increasing the angle of incidence, the angle of deviation again increases. So the minimum value of angle of deviation for a given prism, for a given color of light, is called angle of minimum deviation, and it occurs when the angle of incidence and the angle of emergence are exactly equal. Alright, and there is one more conclusion from this case, that whenever the angle of deviation is minimum, okay, this refracted ray will be parallel to the base. So this will be parallel to the base only at the angle of minimum deviation. So it happens when this is delta min. Okay, so this is about angle of minimum deviation, with the help of which we are going to find out a relationship between the refractive index and the various angles. Alright, so let's start to find out an expression for refractive index with the help of the angles. Alright, with the help of minimum deviation angle and angle of incidence and angle of prism, of course. Alright, now as I told you, at minimum deviation, the ray passes symmetrically through the prism. That means the refracted ray becomes parallel to the base. Now then the angle of emergence E will be equal to I at minimum deviation angle. Alright, so this has to be applied with further relationship. Now if they are parallel, this R1 will be equal to R2, let it be equal to R. Now as I have told you, you need to keep a certain relationship in your mind, that A will be equal to R1 plus R2. Now since these two are equal, it will be R plus R, that will be equal to 2R. So R can be written in terms of A as R is equal to A divided by 2. Let's keep it aside now. Now as I told you, there is one more relation. A plus delta is equal to I plus E. So here, since we are taking the minimum deviation case, I can write delta min. Okay, so A plus delta min is equal to, now here E is equal to I, so E also can be written as I, so it can be written as I plus I. So A plus delta min is equal to 2 times I. Alright, now I can be made the subject, so I is equal to A plus delta min divided by 2. Alright, now we have got the value of R, we have got the value of I. Let's apply it in Snell's law. Snell's law states that N is equal to sine I by sine R. Okay, now I is equal to, from here I is equal to sine A plus delta min upon 2 divided by sine R was deduced to be equal to A by 2. So sine A by 2. So this is how you find the refractive index of the material of the prism with the help of the minimum deviation angle, the angle of prism. Alright. So this is the relation of, this is the expression for refractive index. Alright. Now let's proceed to the next topic, that is called dispersion of light. Dispersion, you must be knowing what is dispersion. It is the phenomena splitting of white light into its 7 constituent colors, namely VIB, GIOR. You must be knowing the full form. Okay, when it passes through a prism, and you will obtain a band of 7 colors on the screen, and the band of 7 colors is called spectrum, or more precisely it is called visible spectrum because it falls under visible category. Okay, now what causes dispersion? Dispersion is caused because of the refractive index of glass, that is the material of the prism. Okay, because the refractive index, the value of refractive index will be different for different colors. Okay, so because white light is constituent of 7 colors, so all the colors will be encountering the glass prism with different values of refractive index. So they will start moving with different speeds. Okay, and when they emerge out of the prism, it happens that they will be formed as a separate band of 7. They will be deposited on the screen, or they will be cast on the screen with at different locations. Okay, how it is done? You have white light. Okay, this is called polychromatic light. It contains many colors. Now inside it, these 7 colors, because they have got different wavelengths, their refractive indices will be different. Refractive index of the glass for them will be different. Now you put a screen. When they go and fall on the screen, they are going to be deposited as different. They are going to be cast as different colors, and the sequence of color is like this, not from top, it is from the bottom. VIB, GYOR. Violet gets cast at the bottom. Okay, and our red gets cast on the top. Alright, now because that means maximum deviation is for violet and minimum deviation will be for red color because of the respective wavelengths. Alright, now there is a term called angular dispersion. Okay, now this angular dispersion produced by a prism of for white light is the difference in angles of deviation of 2 extreme colors, that is violet and red colors. Or it can be also called the mean deviation, that means deviation of the mean color, that is yellow color. Okay, so to help you understand it, let me draw a diagram. I will just take 3 colors, white light here, okay, and this is red, okay, say it comes here. This is yellow, the mid color, mean color, and this is violet. Alright, this is red, this is yellow, this is violet. Okay, now you produce the incident ray upwards. This is deviation for red color. Alright, this is deviation for yellow color, and this last one is the deviation for violet color. The difference between the deviation of the red color and the violet color is called angular dispersion. Alright, now angular dispersion can be written as delta V minus delta R because this is a bigger value. Alright, now if it is a thin prism, you have to know one relation. delta is equal to mu minus 1 into A. This relation holds good if it is a thin prism. Now what is a thin prism? A thin prism is a prism whose angle of prism, this A, is smaller than 6 degree or 0.1 radian. Alright. Now if I apply that for these two particular colors, delta B will be equal to refractive index for violet color of glass minus 1 into A, which is the same for both the colors, it is the same prism, and delta R is equal to mu R minus 1 into A. Now I need to find the angular dispersion using this relation, that is delta B minus delta R is equal to, you just subtract these two values, after which you are going to get mu B minus mu R into A. So this is the expression for angular dispersion. Alright. Obviously, when you look at this relation, this angular dispersion depends on two factors. The first one is the angle of prism and the second one is the material of the prism. Alright. Now, the last topic for today's class is dispersive power. Okay. Dispersive power, it is a ratio, okay, denoted by the letter omega. Dispersive power is omega. It is the ratio of two things. It is the ratio between angular dispersion, the one which we just derived, okay, to the mean deviation. The mean deviation is a deviation of yellow color, okay. Now, angular dispersion, we have just deduced the relation delta B minus delta R divided by the mean deviation. It is delta, which can be written as mu minus 1 into A. Now this delta B minus delta R, we just had deduced it to be mu B minus mu R into A divided by mu minus 1 into A gets cancelled. So omega or dispersive power is equal to mu B minus mu R divided by mu minus 1, or this can be written as omega is equal to, difference can be written as d mu divided by mu minus 1. So this d mu is the difference in refractive index for the two different extreme colors. Alright. Now, as you can see, this omega depends only on the material of the prism. There is no other term involved in it. Okay. Now for your assignment, I have asked you to describe the formation of rainbow with the help of a ray diagram. You just need to draw the ray diagram, how rainbow is formed. Okay. Now rainbow is a result of various optical phenomena like dispersion of light, okay, total internal reflection, all these occur to form rainbow because the tiny particles, the water droplets act as tiny prisms, okay, and you just need to draw the ray diagram and just go through the formation of rainbow. Thank you for your attention.